Time to go through these morning newspapers ahead of the game tonight between England and Sweden in the semi-final of Euro 2022. And The Guardian are saying that the Sweden camp, Karen, they haven't been very happy with VAR. And I'm coming to you because you did mention the elbow offside earlier on. So do you think their critiques are fair?
I don't know anyone that's very happy with VAR, to be honest, particularly in this tournament. But yeah, I feel like Sweden's been particularly hard done by. I mean, with an elbow being offside, I think someone said it was about 10 centimeters offside. And when you look at some of the images, you're kind of like, oh, really? You know, so... But for me, ultimately, it's the time that it takes to make these decisions that seems to be the most disruptive. Because, you know, there were several moments that I've seen in this tournament, you know, even in the France-Netherlands game, where there's a clear and obvious penalty in the box from Dominic Janssen. And it took ages to actually make the decision. So everyone was just kind of, you know, like twiddling their thumbs, and it just kind of deflated the entire atmosphere. And those are the types of things that I think are more irritating than anything else. Of course, like if you're Sweden and the decision's going against you, you're going to be annoyed. But ultimately, it just needs to be faster.
How do you block it out of your mind, though? Because if you've been hard done by VAR, you can't go into the game worrying about VAR, surely. So how do you stop it?
You have to just block it out. You don't want a game decided by VAR. VAR, it took time in the men's football. It's going to take time in the women's football to get used to. And I think I agree with Karen. Decisions, they take too long sometimes. You can see it's a clear and obvious penalty. Just make the decision and tell her to go and have a look. Have a look quickly at the monitor. Because you know what happens. Every time they go to the monitor, they're going to change their decision anyway. So I think VAR slowly but surely. I like it. I think it's getting there eventually. But I wouldn't, if I'm Sweden, I'm not worrying about VAR. I'm just worrying to try and beat England and get through to the final.
I think there were actually some interesting points coming out of the Swedish camp. I mean, I might be wrong, but I believe it was Kostas Lani saying that there was a 50%. There were 50% less cameras on the game in terms of the stadiums and the grounds and stuff. So obviously, you know, that could play a role in having a slower decision-making process.
It'll be interesting to see what happens this evening. Hopefully there's no VAR decisions for us to talk about tomorrow. Moving on to the next paper, the Daily Mail, who are looking at England's past misery in the last four. It's 3 exits in a row at this stage of major tournaments.
Not really.
I mean...
Yeah.
Not really.
But yeah.
How will England avoid a 4th exit in the semi-finals tonight?
Well, yeah, I think because of the previous early exits, there will have been so many learning opportunities for the girls that have been involved in them. You know, the likes of Millie Bright, the likes of Lucy Bronze, they will have learned, you know, obviously domestically as well, like how to win. You know, Millie Bright's got loads of domestic trophies. Lucy Bronze with Lyon has obviously won the Champions League. So now they know what it takes to win at that level. But, you know, I think everything that we've learned has come down to managing those really fine margins and those pivotal moments where the momentum starts to shift, or the decisions like, could I have done that better? Should I have done this? Those things will present themselves again. And now it's understanding, you know, you got to get all the preparation right. The things that you don't think are going to be important become very, very important if you're trying to win a major tournament.
How big will that quarter-final win have been? 84 minutes, they were trailing, and then they get that equaliser, score the second goal as well. They must be riding on that high, that momentum of that game still.
Oh, yeah, the momentum will be there, because for 84 minutes, I thought England were nowhere near it. I thought they're going to struggle. I couldn't see them scoring a goal, to be fair. And then once they scored, you knew Spain were a bit nervous, sat back, and then England started dominating, and they were on the front foot. So they'll take huge confidence. There'll be momentum. Obviously, they've had 6 days now until this game against Sweden, but they'll be riding a big wave at the moment, a big tide, and they'll be going into the game confident. But I do think that's down to Sarina. I think her management is superb.
If we move on to the Telegraph, they talk about Wiegman and Gareth Southgate's growing friendship.
Yeah.
And yeah, very sweet, very sweet. Now, Wiegman has, of course, tasted success at international level. Gareth Southgate has come very, very close. But when it comes to England, Wiegman's in the semi-final, and England's women's side just can't get past the semi-finals. England's men's team, 1990 semi-finals, 1996 semi-finals, 2018 semi-finals. Last year, they did actually get past the semis and into the final. Can that help? Can he draw on those experiences and pass that on to Sarina?
Yeah, he can do, but Serena's won it with the Netherlands, so really she knows what she's doing, Sarina. But it is good that the two managers are definitely helping each other, and Gareth is helping Sarina. Serena's talking to Gareth. I think it's good. I think there's a great togetherness there, and I think you need that importance. Gareth Southgate's an intelligent man. He's a brilliant coach, and he speaks ever so well, and Sarina is the same, to be fair. So, yeah, I think it's good. I think getting together like that and helping each other moving forward is brilliant. But I think Sarina will have her own ideas, and she's been there, seen it and done it, and she's confident at the moment. And you can see it. As I say, that group of players must love playing for Sarina because she knows what she's doing. She's got a plan A, B and C. She's fantastic.
That togetherness along the men's and the women's team, it's great to see. Has it always been like that? Is it
No.
growing? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely not. No, there's been a big divide in the past between the men's and the women's programs. I think obviously the development of St. George's Park is something that kind of really helped bring us together. But yeah, because the international windows were always different as well, there were not a lot of opportunities for kind of crossover. But more lately, I think you saw a few times in the build-up to this tournament that, conversations were happening between Lucy Bronze and, a few of the other players, or just passing. You can always just kind of have chats with the men's players if they're around. But I think just the perception of the game has changed so much in that time as well. So people are, more open to having those conversations. So having everyone in one base makes that a lot easier.
How important is that for the success of English football at all levels, within the men's game and the women's game, that actually at the very, very top, the two are communicating, whether that's the managers, whether that's the players, or whether it's just the FA in general?
Yeah, I think it signals a culture shift, which is, a very positive thing, that now women's football is starting to get the respect that it's always deserved. I think, having more people talk about it like yourselves is something that's really, really positive as well, because you genuinely taken an interest in the game. And I think that kind of trickles down, through obviously the professional teams, like the men's teams. Like for my experience at Man City, like the guys know what the girls are doing, and that starts to, kind of grow in the minds of the people who are watching it. But then also, like, that effect goes all the way down to the grassroots level as well. So it's a massively positive thing if you're trying to build a successful program for England.